So this guy here is Jehovah Witness, and I believe he walked away from the Jehovah Witness belief faith. I don't really know much about Jehovah Witness, so if you know something about Jehovah Witness, or if you happen to be a Jehovah Witness, give me some information. Educate me a little bit down there in the comment section because I've met Jehovah Witnesses before. I only know like some of like the superficial things about them, like they don't really celebrate like holidays, like I believe birthdays. They don't celebrate their birthdays or some that I met, they don't celebrate like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like stuff like that. I believe the like pagan holidays, I guess. I think I've heard them call it that. So like I don't know much, you know what I mean? And this isn't an attack on Jehovah Witness or anything like that. But this gentleman, I believe he was a Jehovah Witness and he stepped away and his family was upset about it. So one thing about Christianity, you know, because I am Christian and I know I it's enforced, you know, in a Christian home for children to be Christian, and you're raised up that way, definitely. But when I've seen people walk away from Christianity, I've never, at least for me on my end, I haven't seen families like turn away and be angry, because in Christianity we kind of know there's backsliders, people falter, they go, the story of the prodigal son, but just come on, return on home, you know. So we know there's ups and downs, but in some of the more like religious, you know, practices, and I believe Jehovah Witness might be one of those. It's a little bit more stern, it's a little bit more rigid, a little bit more, you know, ritualistic, and you know, a lot more practices to obey by. And this gentleman just broke free and was like, I'm out, and has something to say about it. So sit back, get comfortable. It's a little lengthy. We're going to listen to the entire story all the way through. We are not going to stop this thing because I want you guys to hear his part. And especially for some of the people who, like I said, may know more things about the Jehovah Witness religion than I do. Let me know like what he's really like explaining. So this is kind of going to be like, typically I have a lot to say, but this is going to be the video where I want you guys to say something to me. Tell me something about what you're hearing and what you see. And I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comment section, and we will definitely talk about it down there. So without further ado, guys, let's get into this. Sit back, get comfortable. Here we go.
So today is the day that I decided to let the elders know that I don't want to be a witness anymore. And the nail in the coffin was the last interaction I had with my family, asking them if they would regret not having a relationship with me anymore if that end that they were waiting for never came. And their response was their hope is sure and they're not changing their minds, their stance is not going to change, and that I left them. When in reality, I didn't leave them. I left their God that I don't believe in anymore and their organization, not them. Just because it encompasses their entire personality and world, does not mean that I left them. I still love my family. You know, and I can respect if they want to stay inside of that religion because it's their choice. But they claim to respect my choice, but them respecting my choice means not talking to me. That doesn't make sense. You respect someone by cutting them off? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we're letting you live your life, but we don't want to talk to you. There's a disconnect there. There's a disconnect. Me respecting your choice to stay in that religion, I will still talk to you about any given thing, about any everyday thing. But me living my life the way I want to with the free will that I have, you can't talk to me, and that's your respecting my decision. That doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And then, of course, anytime that I talk about, excuse me, the fact that they don't speak to me, first of all, they don't even answer the question directly because I said, would you regret it? There wasn't really an answer to that. And then anytime I bring this stuff up, my mom thinks that I'm blaming the religion. No, I'm just saying, I'm asking you to take accountability for the fact that you would cut me off for someone invisible that you cannot see and some hope that countless people before you waited for and have died and cut their family off and never saw that end come. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Are you willing to forego your offspring that came out of your body for a possibility, for a hypothetical, for a dream, for a hope? Damn. Is it really that hard to answer? I think they don't want to hold themselves accountable. They want to hold you accountable when you live a life of sin, which I don't believe in sin anymore. I'm agnostic, and I don't respect the Bible. I do not respect it because it's morally inconsistent. But a direct question, they always answer in the way that they've been taught to answer. They don't answer from their own mind. And they think it's their own mind because that's how they've been indoctrinated. Sorry, stupid flash flood warning. But anyway, that's how they've been indoctrinated to believe and to think. And that's the only answers they know how to give. It's honestly sad, but to protect my own sanity and peace, and mental health, I gotta move on. I have to let go of my family. I can't try to have a relationship with them anymore. And another thing is, my brother, he consistently talks to me like I answer to him, like I'm his child. I'm not your child. We're on the same level. And to be honest, if we want to talk about levels, when it comes to freedom, independence, adulthood, I'm above you. Because you answer to other adults. I don't. Other adults tell you what you can do with your facial hair, your clothes, your life. That doesn't happen to me. So, when it comes to being an adult, I'm kind of superior in that aspect. So don't talk to me like I'm your child. Anyway, the whole thing is just unfortunate, and they just want to stay in their little bubble because they think everybody else outside is dangerous. And I've seen firsthand that that's not true. People are people. They're normal. There are bad people. There are people who do bad things, but are still good people. Because we all do bad things, unfortunately, from time to time. But we don't act like it's the end of the world or have extreme, incessant guilt because of it. Living in reality is freeing. This is freedom, genuine freedom, that I'm not gonna forego for the happiness of my family.
So what do y'all think? I want you guys to tell me what you guys got from this. Now, a couple questions I do have is, do Jehovah Witnesses, do they believe in the same God that Christians do? Because he kept saying like their God, and I know he's agnostic, so he's trying to like discredit like any God in general, but like, do they believe in the same thing? Because I know people would try to say like, yeah, Catholicism is just like Christianity, but it's like, we don't do the rosaries and we don't pray to Mary. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain ritualistic things that Christians just don't do. So I just want to know, like, is that the case? I mean, for me as a believer, like, I'm a Christian, man. Like, if my children, don't believe or something, I would believe that somewhere as a parent, maybe I went wrong, because it is my job, I believe, as a Christian parent to train my child up in the way that they should go. So when they get older, they won't depart from those ways, So I believe it's important, and it could be my fault, but I wouldn't turn my children away if they didn't believe. I would want to hear why. Just like he has those questions, like, hey, would you be willing to be wrong? And I would tell people all the time, like, I'd rather go my entire life believing that God exists, believing in Jesus and Christ, submitting to his will for my life, believing in all of this, believing and knowing it to be true. I'd rather go that my entire life, and then at the end I find out that, oh, it wasn't true. I'd rather do that. That's fine, because then I still led a good life. I submitted to a good will. I was honorable. I was faithful. I gave love. I demonstrated love. I taught people how to protect themselves, how to get to know Jesus Christ. I'd rather do that than go a whole life not believing. And then at the end, I find out that it is true, because then there's no going back. There's no going back. People try to make it seem like it's a risk thing, but it's not a risk thing following Jesus. It's not a risk thing having a relationship with Christ. It's not, because there's no risk. There's no risk. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. Even if I'm wrong, as people would say, I still won. I still won. So let me know what you guys think about this, man, because I feel like it's against the Christian morals and values to turn your kids away, and push them off just because they may be thinking different than you. It's your child. I think that that would be a little bit of exasperation. But they're not Christian. It's Jehovah Witness. So, I mean, is this something that's normal? Because that's the case, then it feels a little culty to me. Like it's a little cult situation going on here. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, this was you guys' video to kind of tell me, because I don't know much about Jehovah Witnesses. But I definitely wanted to know, because from a Christian standpoint, I would say that this is wrong on so many levels, because you shouldn't push your children away and push your children out just because they have a different thought process than you on something. I would think that people would want to have an educated conversation with one another, so that way that we can get some understanding, as the Bible really tells us to do, and all that get a better understanding. But that's all I got for you guys on this one, man. I appreciate you guys staying all the way through, per usual. To the next one, y'all. I'm out.